computer. That's what we want. Hello everyone, I am Liz Carabine. I am a spiritual mentor, a healer and a spiritual business coach. I work with ladies to help them through their ascension, through their soul journey to understand it. And I also work with heart-centered business owners who want to align their business with their soul's purpose. Today, I am chatting with Felicia Banks, who very much has her business aligned with her soul purpose. And she's going to talk to you today about crystals and how we use them. So Felicia, please introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
My name's Felicia Banks, and I have recently come out of the shadows, hiding behind a company name, which was good at the time, but I then was given guidance by my crystals actually to stop hiding and be seen. Yes, it is yes, I feel very vulnerable and very scared, but on the other hand, my crystals are my guardian angels, and they do give me such support, and they have done for a long time. And yeah, I hear you say crystals, what can they do? Crystals are amazing. They can ground, they can connect you to Mother Nature, they can teach you all sorts of things, and also they give you challenges. Nothing is easy in this life, believe you me, especially when you work with crystals. They come in different shapes, sizes, colors, variations. They come in different combinations. They are quite astounding and amazing in themselves, and they are a living entity. Most people think, yes, they look very pretty, very glittery, they shine or they sparkle. On the other hand, they are all living. They may look really innate, but they are not. They are very much alive, and they all have their own they all have their own characteristics, which in some cases can be rather challenging on their own. And they do have a way of communicating with one another at the same time. So if you leave 2 or 3 in the same spot in a room, they will quite happily communicate with one another. And they can also communicate with you, giving you a nudge without even realizing it, that you're getting a nudge from them. And also because I've also managed to do readings with them as well, which is something that came about 3 or 4 years ago. I was doing a card reading for somebody, and I kept guessing this in the peripheral part of my eye. I kept getting the crystal that was sitting next door to me. I want to join in. I want to join in. I want to join in. And I'm going, no, what? Sorry, you're talking. And I was doing the cards for this client, and I kept getting this crystal talking to me in a little childlike voice. And I thought, either I'm going nuts, or I'm actually hearing things which I'm not used to hearing. And eventually I picked the crystal up, and it just happened to amethyst. Picked it up, and immediately I picked it up, there was this flash. All I can describe as similarities to giving a card reading, except the energy from the crystal went through my hand and immediately into my third eye. And I saw the image of what the message was for my client, and it was amazing. My client was just blown away. Mind you, so was I at the same time. Sort of gave me a few hints of where my journey was going to go, never knowing actually where it was going. And then ever since, I've been doing readings with them, including the cards. I do flowers with them. I do essential oils with them, being I am a registered and qualified aromatherapist. So I've used all my skills within what I do with my crystals, because they invite all my other parts of me to combinations of different things, which is great actually.
They are beautiful, aren't they? I mean, and as you said, they all have their own energies and their own reason to be. They support us in many different ways.
Yes, and when I teach my students to realize that they make up 85% of our Earth's crust.
Goodness.
And if they were not here, we wouldn't have a crust to live on. There are other minerals around, obviously, like the sedimentary and the gee whiz, I teach this all the time. I remember it's great on my head, but there are
Yes.
matrix
Yes.
rocks that they actually come in and they grow in, and they form the hardness of the rock for them to grow in, to give them a nurturing energy to be created, like having a mother and father to nurture a child. That's exactly what they do for crystals. And it just determines where they are, the actual properties within the rocks formations themselves to create crystals.
And it's the minerals give them their color. Is that?
And also the tectonic plates when they move, with the fire and the water and the earth and the air itself. All the elements have an impact also on it. I mean, for instance, petrified, I was talking about this yesterday with somebody actually on the phone. Now, this is a piece of wood.
Wow.
And that's the bark on it still, and it's fossilized. But that is the raw side of it, and that is the polished side.
Right.
It's got agate. As far as I know, this one has got, and you can actually in fact still see how it's grown. Yeah. Except it's fossilized, or well, we call it petrified because that's how it looks when it's grown afterwards. But this is a proper piece of slice of wood that's fallen into water at some point, and in that water there has been maybe agate, fire agate. You can have jasper, opal.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it?
And you can have also quartz as well.
What are the properties of petrified wood, Felicia? How would we use that?
When I've been using it, when I was using it for clients, when I was seeing clients face to face, I was using it for empowerment.
Right. Stability,
strength, flexibility, and communication with oneself. And also the ability, if you've got someone with a back, if that is on that side of it, but on the other physical side of it, I would be using it to realign the spine. Anybody who has scoliosis or anyone who has got lordosis and nerve problems, disconnected dendrites, stories. My AMP is going to come into this. Disconnected dendrites, which are communicating between the top part of the head. Well, you'll know, Liz, top part of the head to the base. Anything that is out of alignment, it will realign.
Oh, I never knew that. I may have to get a bit of that for my back then.
It's very good for back problems, actually. One of my ladies I used to see regularly, and she had a back problem for years and years and years. She was on, I don't know what medication, I have no idea. We had an A4 sheet of the medication she was taking, and gradually over 3 years when I was seeing her, they depleted to more or less zilch. Yeah. And she bought a massive piece, actually bigger than this, of petrified wood, and I suggested through my guides to put it on the base of her chakra and to sit on it at all times. When she was sitting down, at all times, wherever she was, she would take it with her to work, she would take it wherever she went, and gradually, after several sensations she was receiving, the communication between crystal and her central nervous system realigned all of chakras and also all of her spine and the central nervous system. But she was feeling it while she was sitting on it. It was a zinging sensation, or it was felt as though someone was moving the vertebrae around. And in some cases she was feeling the crystal had actually gone into her spine and trying to move it around like building blocks. It was quite fascinating, her descriptions, I must say.
It sounds it. Indeed. Oh, well, it's always worth the try, see what crystals can do, isn't it? So if somebody comes to you and who knows absolutely nothing about crystals, well, how would you advise them to go about getting some? Buying some? How would it normally call to them? How would they?
I sell them. No, I not only teach about them, but I also sell them as well.
Yeah.
And we would have a conversation. I would actually do some similar sort of a clarity call to them, because obviously that would give me and them a clearer understanding of their abilities to understand crystals in the first place.
Okay.
if they are of a level of understanding and they're beginning their journey, we can take them back to basics. It's no good giving them a high revolution energy crystal like the Miriam crystal, for instance, because it would rock their socks and throw them out sideways.
No, I've got two of those.
Unless, of course, you, as you described yesterday on our networking, when you've got someone who is on the first rung of the ladder of crystals, and their insights are tweaked to such a degree that they will be understanding, that is a different matter. But most people I see who were on the first rung, I give them the basics, because that is really and truly a good foundation to start off with, which is exactly what I do with the first course and event I've actually put out there, which is using 7 crystals which are well known, and then take them down a little journey of self-healing and discovery, and just take them into stories or meditation to get them used to the energies of the crystals, because some people may not understand the power that they have.
No, I think, and when you go into a shop that sells crystals, or to an MBS fair, and they've got these lovely crystal stalls, and it's like a candy shop, isn't it? It really is for us.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I found that for me, they call. Obviously,
Yeah.
if I need a specific crystal, I can feel a pull towards it, and it obviously comes home with me. But in the early days, I mean, I used to think, oh, they're really pretty, but I didn't understand the power of them. And I was drawn very much to the amethyst and the rose quartz and the clear quartz. And obviously, as I've learned more and work more with them in my business and in my home, you know, that's when you build up, don't you? When your energy calls and they say, we want to work with you, or you need us at the minute to give the properties that we hold into you. So what do most people start off with? What's their sort of opening gambit with you?
I'm just going to do the 7 ones I will be doing on my workshop or my event, is going to be green aventurine. That's heart related, but that is physical heart.
Yeah.
Then you've got rose quartz. Everybody knows rose quartz, but
yeah,
quite surprising how many people do not understand these crystals, never heard what they are. That is heart related, but the two work together.
Yeah.
One works on one level and one works on the other. That one's yang, this one's yin. So you'd partner them up together so they would actually intertwine and work with one another and weave into one another. Then you have carnelian, which is all to do with confidence, confidence and self-worth, self-value, self-love on a different level to the heart chakra, because this is sacral. So this is going to be related to the kidney energy, which is family related and inherent. Get this right, guys. Inherent ancestral energy, which you are born with, and you then have to work out what is relevant for you and what is not relevant for you. But that would be further down the line. But for basics, you would be taught about building their confidence and their empowering themselves into the ability to understand that crystals. And you have amethyst. Everyone knows about amethyst. Greek for do not get drunk.
My birthstone, I absolutely love it.
Well, apparently the Greek gods used to wear them, so if they did drink, they didn't ever get drunk with it. That's how it's come about. But you used to find with war, when Romans used to go to war, they would have a piece of amethyst and a piece of green aventurine and a couple of other crystals that are not in this kit that I'm doing, and they would wear them for protection. Going to war. So the Romans knew all about crystals.
They did, didn't they? Yes.
In fact, a lot of civilizations past us have known about crystals. It's only us that seem to have come further down the line that have lessened. It seems to have lessened and lessened and lessened until it's come back full circle again. But everything goes in circles anyway.
It
does. Then black tourmaline.
Right.
There are other crystals that you can use for grounding and protection, but black tourmaline is very, very good. for doing so, because and lapis, that's right, lapis lazuli, throat chakra.
Yeah.
But that one has also got pyrite in it. Did you know that sodalite and lapis lazuli are more or less the same?
No, I didn't.
No. The difference being is if you have two raw pieces of one of each, get one of each.
Mm-hmm.
If you draw them on a blackboard, lapis lazuli will come up with absolute brilliant bright blue.
Mm-hmm.
I got a scratch the other day when I went out for my walk.
Oh.
Going to take a picture of a teasel with an ice cream top to it.
Like, oh, I saw that. You posted that, didn't you?
I've got this going through the brambles.
That'll teach you.
Exactly. And if you do a raw piece of lapis, it will come up bright blue. Mm-hmm. If it's sodalite, it will come out white.
Ah.
And a lot of people who are not as they're a bit unscrupulous, in other words, wholesalers, you'll pay for lapis lazuli, but you'll end up with sodalite.
Whoa. Yes.
So you have to be very, very careful. And there's a difference because sodalite has a lot of white in it with blue, and lapis lazuli will have pyrite in it.
I've got a lapis bracelet, and it's got like little gold pieces of gold squiggles and things on.
Yeah, that's pyrite. But lapis lazuli is always been mined in the same mines in Egypt as they've always done.
Right.
It's the Egyptian times.
So, I mean, they've been used through all the main civilizations since Adam was a boy. It's only our generations, if you like, or modern generations that sort of doesn't understand them or the power that they have.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because, they are beautiful to look at, but they're so much more than just that, aren't they?
They are. They've helped me in so many situations personally and in business as well. If it hadn't been for them, I don't know where I will be, to be honest. I first knew about crystals when I was growing up as a child, but because my family were the flip side to me, I believed in all of the unicorns, and I did have a unicorn friend, imaginary friend, and I did collect crystals, but because my family were not of that ilk, I suppose, and I was told to grow up and not be stupid with them, and they weren't actually, they were just stones to look at. They were pretty, glittered and everything else. They didn't do anything. You get into a habit really of believing what you're told, and eventually it wears off. Until later on when it wears back on again.
I think this is pretty common, isn't it, through our spiritual journey, if you like, that as kids we're far more open to, we haven't put the barriers up, we haven't listened to the adults. This is what it is. This is a fairy cave, and because look at all these lovely glitteries that, the imagination can run riot, but we can see what they are. They're treasures. And the adults are saying, no, don't be silly, and trying to pull us away, so that eventually what is normal in their world imposes itself on us until we get to another stage where we can say, hang on a minute, I actually don't believe what you've been telling me. I know what's right. I know how I feel and what I see, and I'm not having you anymore telling me this isn't right. But that's part of the journey, isn't it? If you talk to anyone who's spiritually awake now, will tell you that they've had this with their parents and with friends and colleagues, that they're all sort of, you lose a bit of it as a child, and then it comes back when you've taken control of your life again, and you're not going to be told, well, no, don't stop being silly. If I want to be silly, I'll be silly. It's not hurting anyone, but we know the truth. And that's part of the journey, isn't it? What was
No, it is amazing. I mean, I've learned a lot over the last 25 years or more than that, actually. I started my learning when I was quite an older student, and the guy I was trained with, he was amazing, and he worked for De Beers diamond mine, so he knew the ins and outs of crystals from the very, the gem side of things, and he worked his way all the way up and decided he wouldn't belong to that sort of companies anymore and move away.
Mm-hmm.
Only found friends to mines and everything else. So he used to go to people's mines individually, and he would retrieve all sorts of different crystals. I've got 2 here, which no one else has got. Yeah. These are called winter steins, right? Which, in other words, in English, it will be winter stone. In other words, and they are jaspers.
Yeah.
But you won't get them anywhere.
Because they're so deeply.
I've asked him repeatedly to get them some. I did actually find he did actually bring some back from the mine about 2 years ago for me.
Mm-hmm.
I sold 10 and I kept some myself in my stock. And what I've got is that's it. Can't get any more because he won't go back to the mine again because he's not allowed to.
No.
In fact, I think his friend in South Africa has closed his mine now for the moment.
Right.
And the energy of them is absolutely astounding. And if you must, we had a friend, I had a friend who had Achilles heel problems. She had an operation on it and it wouldn't heal. No matter what they gave her, medication or what, it would not heal. And I gave her a piece of winterstein, just gave her a piece, and I said, just give this a go, will you? See what it feels like. Because I had the information given to me. Just give her that piece, Felicia, just give her that piece, it will work. 2 weeks after having it, I got a phone call from her. She said, I don't know whether you're going to believe me or not, but you know the problem I've had with my Achilles. I said, yes, I haven't got it anymore. I said, oh, that's good. What happened? She said, the stone you gave me, I had it, I wore a sock every night to go to bed, and I had the Achilles, the stone strapped to my ankle. And she said I could feel it working. It was I could feel it going into my actual inner side of my in my eel, and cleaning the blood, realigning and fixing all of my nerves in there. And she said I could feel it. It was no lie at all. I was just feeling it happen. And she said, I'm phoning you now because it's now all finished and done with. And I went back to the GP, had an X-ray, and they are unbelievable. I don't understand how I've done it.
No, well, they wouldn't, would they? That would be just a spontaneous healing, which of course the body, given the right conditions, will heal itself.
Yep.
You know, it's only when we start forcing all sorts of stuff into it that the body sort of has a reaction to, that the body will heal from all sorts of things, given the right scenario and the right nutrients and everything. Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay.
But now the other crystal, which he goes and gets himself, he won't have to get any more because he has to go to the desert for this one in South Africa, so he hasn't been back there either. And he was giving these crystals away when he first went to go and get them from the desert, but he'd always ask. He would never take without asking. He would always go out there and he would find them like a divine stick, and he would go out using his hands. He'd rub them hands, and he would go over the sand and find out which one was coming with him. And he always said they would look like that in the sand.
Oh, okay.
And that is a rose quartz.
You wouldn't think so, would you? No.
That is a water tumbled rose quartz. There's only one other person I know who's got this, and you know them, and then they're in this group. We sell crystals because we both know the same person. Come,
you have access.
You know that is
insider knowledge. That's what it is.
And this is water tumbled.
Okay.
And originally it was in water until the water turned into desert.
Well, yes, it's amazing to think, isn't it, that deserts were once full of water, and what happened?
This crystal is entirely different. This crystal is entirely different to your ordinary rose quartz. It has a different energy altogether. Okay. And when you work with it, it goes very deep into the chakra, and it actually, what I found when I did teach my crystal healing, we have noticed over the last, I suppose, 2 or 3 years, it opens up your whole of your heart chakra.
Right. Okay.
It opens up to the cosmic heart.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, now we're in ascension energy. That's happening, isn't it? So we are being shown now actually different crystals to work with the opening of the cosmic heart, isn't it? That there's higher vibration ones coming to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, you know, the universe and the earth provide what we need. We just have to be open to it.
I know it is.
Yeah.
I think we've had a disconnection for a while, but we agreed to that to learn because the earth is our school.
Yeah. So when you look at crystals as a whole, I mean, literally getting back to basics, you know, your journey starts somewhere, and it starts with you being attracted to a specific color or a specific shape. To us, it would be a vibration, an energy that we would feel, but not everybody would use those words. It'll be, I love the color of that. I love that piece. I love the feel of it, and I'm holding it. And really, that's the connection that the crystal makes with you. Isn't it? So that you know this one's got to come home. I mean, it's no good if I go to a fair and there's got these crystal stores, I have to make sure that the credit card is at home. Because it's, you know, it does come.
I was always taught by my mentor, please, if you go anywhere, do not bring a list of crystals. No. Because do not do that. You have to do it totally intuitive. The crystals will actually tell you to put the list away, and I've seen it time and time again. When he would be teaching me, and someone would come along. If I was with him on the store to help him, and they'd come along and say, I've just gone on my crystal course with a particular person at the time, and I've got this rather long list. I wonder if you have any of these crystals. And immediately my mentor would turn around and say, put the list away, because you're actually upsetting my crystals, because it's a way of demanding rather than working intuitively. Yeah. And he said, always close it's up to you, but he taught me to close my eyes and rub your hands together and then place them over the crystals, and whenever your hands stop and buzz, they're the crystals you're meant to work with at that time. And then until you get yourself into a routine, sort of a habit, to understand you don't have to do that method anymore. You can then, it will just attract to you, and you will know. Yeah.
But that's a lovely, simple way, isn't it, of tuning to a crystal. It is this one for me. When you're not using your natural eyesight, you're literally just feeling. And you will feel, because they are incredibly powerful. Thank you, Felicia. It's been absolutely fascinating talking to you. How can people contact you if they want to find out more about how to buy your crystals or to get on your crystal course? How can they actually contact you?
I have got a website at the moment, which is called crystal8rainbows.com. That is changing, but the information is still on there at the moment till I change it over to my name. I have a Facebook group, and I have a Facebook page, which is actually my name. What am I doing? It's actually my name. It's got reverted. I nearly fell into the trap by actually doing that. But no, it is actually Felicia Banks, and it is spiritual, intuitive mentor healer. And I do have a group that's linked into that, which is all about crystals, and that is for the love of crystals, which you can quite happily join if you wish to do so. And I also don't have anything. Yeah, I do have an Instagram account, which I do post up occasionally when I get the chance to do so. But at the moment, it hasn't got crystals on there, but it will do. It will do. It's coming.
But they can still see you on there, and the different things that you have at your disposal. The different as well. Okay. So you've got a website, you've got the Facebook, and you've got Instagram. So that's ways people can get hold of you. Thank you very much for chatting with me today. I'd say it's been absolutely fascinating. And please, if you are interested in finding out more how to work with crystals, or how they work with you, and you're attracted to them, then do get in touch with Felicia and have a chat. So thank you all very much. And for now, goodbye.
Thank you, Liz.